Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. Today we got my ranking of all the live action Star Wars films. We'll be starting from the bottom and work our way to the top, and let's get started. So coming in at number 11, we got Attack of the Clones. My reason for this one is this was actually the first film that I was disappointed as a Star Wars fan. I remember as a little kid leaving the theater and thinking, wow, I was hoping for a lot more out of that, because I came off episode 1 where there was exciting pod racing, there was a battle with 3 people involved, being Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. We got the cool double-bladed lightsaber, and in my opinion, the only thing that we really got out of Attack of the Clones was the battle on Geonosis, mainly the arena. That was about it. That was exciting for me for that film at the time, and to a point, still today. At number 10, we got The Last Jedi. This was the first time I was disappointed as an adult. I remember going to Force Awakens. I was excited for what may come in the rest of the Disney series, sequel trilogy. And I remember right from the get-go when Luke took the lightsaber and threw it over his shoulder, I knew something wasn't gonna quite add up for this movie. It turns out it didn't. I remember leaving the theater once again feeling very disappointed. I was a little bit more angry, I would say, coming out of this one, since I actually had some Star Wars knowledge that I had expectations for. But the movie was exactly what Luke said. This isn't gonna go the way you think. Thanks, Rian Johnson. Coming in at number 9, we got Solo. This one, actually, when I first saw it, I was kind of disappointed as well. It was a very, very dark film as far as the picture quality. It was very hard to be able to watch the film and know what was going on. I remember the first 15 minutes or so where it was really, really dark. Couldn't tell what was going on until he threw the rock and light came on the screen. Throughout the film, it became more and more acceptable for what it was, I would say, because this movie was about Han Solo, a smuggler, and we got essentially what we got from that, a smuggler film. He went in and did his thing. I did, however, have a friend watch it with me, and his positivity brought some light to the picture. His name is Pete. Thank you, Pete. Coming in at number 8, Rogue One. Rogue One is kind of a mix-up for me because I really enjoyed the second half of the film, but I also, in the first half, thought it was extremely slow. There was some very cool things in this film as far as the CG Tarkin. I know a lot of people didn't really care for that, but personally, I thought it was really cool to see how far that technology could be pushed for the filming process. And also, we have the unforgettable Vader moment at the very end, where everything was quiet, we hear the breathing, and then we just know something's about to go down. And in fact, a lot went down, and it was crazy. I love that Darth Vader moment. I'm really hoping that Disney gives us more of that in the future. Coming in at number 7, The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace was the first movie that I actually got to see in theaters for Star Wars. Again, it was kind of a not so great film for the adults, but I know for me as a kid, I loved it. I remember coming home and just thinking it was the best movie ever. Again, there were just so many new things that happened in that movie for me watching as a kid. For instance, the pod racing, Darth Maul, the big fight that I had mentioned earlier between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. It just seemed very exciting all around. The plot of the film has to do with a lot of politics, so that's kind of a slight turnoff to everybody, but it was a great way to set up the prequel trilogy as George Lucas created the arc that the prequel trilogy really set up for the original trilogy. At number 6, we got The Force Awakens. This is the very first film that Disney put out for Star Wars. It was very similar to some of the stuff of the past for Star Wars. A lot of people talked about how there was a lot of similarities pulled from the original film. In my opinion, it was a slight bit of brilliance from J.J. Abrams and Disney, being that they could essentially start off the new generation of Star Wars fans with this film, showing them what was so great about the past, and then also leaving loose ends of what could come later. Again, I really enjoyed that film. When I walked out of the theater, I was satisfied. I wouldn't say I was overly excited, but it was a great starting point for Disney, and I was looking very much forward to what was to come next. At number 5, we got the Rise of Skywalker. So for the Rise of Skywalker, I knew coming off of episode 8, my expectations were kind of low to start with, but once I found out J.J. Abrams was back at the helm, my expectations creeped up a little bit more. I thought it was kind of cool how they brought the Emperor back. The Emperor was a villain that was a part of the entire Skywalker saga, so to me it kind of made sense to have him be the one that was pulling the strings all along. May not have been what everybody expected, but I feel like the Rise of Skywalker was action-packed, very fast-moving, and a pretty good end to a great series. Coming in at number 4, we got the original Star Wars film, A New Hope. A New Hope for me was one of my very first watching as a kid. I grew up with the original trilogy, and I just remember, I started with the special editions, so I saw all the different changes that happened. They had like a little bonus features segment there. But this is the movie that started it all off. It's what, was groundbreaking about science fiction at the time. And it really changed everything, both in storytelling and in filming. It was quite the breakthrough for filming. This was a great start to Star Wars, and led to very, very great things. Coming in at number 3, Revenge of the Sith. This was another one I actually got to see in theaters. I was probably in middle school, I think. And I remember following up to this movie. I read the comic books because those happened to come out before the movie. I enjoyed those. I spoiled it a bit much for me. There was an awesome video game that went along with the movie. Anyways, about the movie, I felt like the movie overall was great. There was very action-packed. It actually accomplished a lot in the 2.5 hours that I had to play with. I did expect a little bit more to a point. I felt like some of the battles, like the Battle of Kashyyyk or the battle on Utapau, was very, very brief in terms of battles, especially the one for Kashyyyk. But overall, they did a great job of showing Anakin's transformation from the Jedi to the Sith, and showed that great dynamic of how Palpatine's plan really played out in the galaxy, and how he was the one that controlled everything from the start. Coming in at number 2, we got Return of the Jedi. This is the final film of the original trilogy. It was a great film from start to finish. I feel like the film started off really nicely, tying up the loose end from Empire Strikes Back, having to do with Han and Carbonite, and they had to go back and get Han. Then it kind of took off for what the movie could do on its own that was fresh and new. They went and discovered a second Death Star. They had to go to Endor, so they had to kind of split up the group a little bit and attack the Empire from 2 different points of view, so to speak. It also wrapped up Luke's big plot line with Darth Vader being his son, and we were able to turn Darth Vader back to the good side. So Vader came full circle in the end. And then coming in at number 1, The Empire Strikes Back. This movie is my all-time favorite for Star Wars, and I don't really anticipate it ever changing. It's a big favorite amongst fans all over the place. What I love most about it is I feel like every time I watch it, it's just constantly moving. There's hardly any slow spots in this movie. The music is phenomenal. The plot is phenomenal. We split up our characters from episode 4. They did a great film together as episode 4. They showed just how dynamic they could be separately as well. Luke started his training with Yoda and then went off and faced Darth Vader himself, learned the cinematic, historical moment of any film, in my opinion, that Darth Vader was his father, and ultimately, phenomenal film. Also, the Battle of Hoth, that was fascinating as well. Love the Battle of Hoth. Again, all around, just my favorite film. Non-stop action, great music, great plotline. And there you have it. There is my ranking of the 11 live-action Star Wars films so far. Make sure to drop your rankings of the films down in the comments. Let me know what you think about all the different films, what films you may prioritize over others that you thought were better. But again, this is my opinion. Feel free to share yours. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and comment what you thought of the video, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Thank you.